telling, but asking from the students. And then from a student management perspective, cold calling is a big one to make sure that they're paying attention, to make sure that all the students are involved, and that gives you an understanding of how much they're understanding. Again, listening from the students, and then with this class, again, it can be, I don't want to say boring, but it's not at times maybe as enjoyable as the V1. There's not as much discussion. So different ways of approaching that. At our branch, we have bonus tickets, which the students get for like homework completion, excellent participation. You have your badges as well that you can award. And so a lot of times we make this really competitive, sort of keeping track of how they've done over the course of the class. Certain tasks you could have them do in partners and then competing with each other. Rewarding badges for best note taker. And then so when you're proctoring and you see notes, maybe taking a picture of those notes, awarding a badge, and then putting the notes on the screen and explaining why these are the model notes. So they have the T-chart, they have both speakers, they have the key phrases sort of highlighted, and these are the model notes, this is what we're looking for. Other issues with A2. One thing, process of elimination. A lot of our students they're so competitive and there's so much pressure to get always the correct answer that I think their mind is sort of trained that they're just always focusing which one's right. And so introducing the process of elimination, it's in some of the question types, they actually do a really good job of showing them how to eliminate. And so getting it down to choose from two choices. Because for most questions, and the same is true for the TOEFL Junior IBT, there's usually, any test in general, there's usually one choice that's a really, really poor choice, one that's fairly obvious, and then there's two that could be the choice. And so having them, based on the strategy, eliminate the incorrect choices, and okay, why can we eliminate that? And then good, we're down to two, and so which one's correct and why is it correct? And so sort of introducing that to them and helping them learn that sort of working backwards, crossing off the incorrect ones, and then if you had to, if all else fails in the strategy, then at least if you're picking between two, you're much better off than trying to choose from four. Some of the passages will have media cards for you. They'll have maybe short video clips or images to talk about different things. Feel free sometimes to add your own video clips or to add your own media cards for discussion. So again, it's not a discussion-based class, but over time, question gets a little bit dry and repetitive. So if you find a passage that you think might be interesting for the students or the students themselves find interesting, don't be afraid to kind of go off on a little tangent and have a discussion about that, right? Because it kind of breaks up the class a little bit, gives them something else to do, practice for speaking as well. The timing within the sections we talked about, if you see that one section is kind of really dragging on and they've had some practice and you're not quite done, feel free to kind of cut it short and move on to the next one. So there's no need to cover every single question. Mixing up the order, reading, listening, speaking, having students, or I guess for you when you're preparing, making sure that you've written down all the correct answers and then the steps and strategies to get that. Because again, when you show them the answer, as soon as you reveal the answer, it's really difficult to kind of teach them or guide them from that point. And I think that's most of what I have. You guys have questions? Fairly straightforward, I think, in terms of comparing it to C1 or C2. It's much more structured and the strategies are laid out. The timing is a lot easier to follow.